where those dollars are going.
Yeah, this is live.
Ask anybody in
at
here
Martin
where
Luther
those dollars
King
going.
High School voters registration drive, Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
They closed over 100 schools, and our school's still struggling. So I've just asked you to continue to focus on the policies of our voting, and not just the privileged voting.
Clergy is here.
Change if we're educated in what we're choosing, and not just choosing because people expect us to.
There's Reverend McCarthy from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Take a look around you. Take a look around you. I see more women than I see men out here. I wonder why is that?
Looks like 18% being the men.
I see more women out here. What that means to you all is that you are all the backbones. You are our backbones. You carried us all the way through for everything that we do. The next lady that I want to, and I've saved her for this point because I've watched around to see that the majority of you out there are women. Women are what carries us. Women are what's been winning our election for us. So I want to introduce to you a lady right now, Ms. Rhonda Craig, who's the president of the League of Women Voters.
Thank you, Reverend McCarthy. I am so proud and happy to be here, and I'm happy to see all of you who are interested in your community. The League of Women Voters is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization who works to empower our citizens by letting them know about their public officials and the policies and about voting. That is our main goal, is to get people out to vote. And I know I'm speaking here to the choir, so I'm not going to tell you about how voting is power, how voting is our civic responsibility, and how voting is our symbol, our torch to honor the people who came before us to fight for the vote. I'm going to tell you what to tell other people when they say it ain't no good to vote. There's no use. They know that they're going to vote for mayor and our representatives and so forth, but many people forget you vote for judges. Every returning citizen ought to be running to the polls so they can vote for who sentenced them, okay? Because that's how they got there. Some judge sent them to jail, okay? Another reason why you should tell people, oh, I never get whoever I voted for, they never win. Well, you buy lottery tickets all the time, and you don't win. But you keep buying them, don't you? Okay? Tell them that in your community, if you want your lights, if you want parks, if you want your road fixed, people who vote in their community, the elected officials, pay attention. They're not going to pay attention to your community if you don't vote, if your neighbors don't vote, if your block doesn't vote. They don't care. They want the vote. And if you say, we're going to give you the vote, they're going to do something about what you want them to do. They're going to get you a park. They're going to get your lights. They're going to get your road fixed. Because they know you care and they know you have the power of the ballot. Okay? Another thing you can tell them is we are at a war. We're fighting for our very survival.
That's right.
And we need warriors out there to work and to fight, because there are people who don't want us in this country. Okay? Tell them that the number one reason why you should vote is because people don't want you to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? That's the number one reason, because there are too many people, and you know this to be true. They don't want you to vote. Your silence, failure to vote, gives consent to whoever is around to do anything they want. And if you don't keep up with your right to vote, what'll happen? they said anything. If they're about anything, find out who they are. So you'll be an informed, educated voter, like one of our speakers has just said. Democracy is not a spectator sport. You got to get out there and vote. Thank you.
Ladies and women voters, y'all. Now this next young lady that I'm going to bring up here, and then we're going to start closing out here. She has a story to tell you. You know, we lose a lot of people to police brutality, to Dr. King's number 3 reason for evils of society, militarism. This young lady that I'm bringing up here to you, and I didn't see her earlier, I was looking for her, I'm just seeing her, that she pointed it out to me, but I was looking for her earlier. This young lady has a story to tell you that will touch your heart, and you need to know. I want to introduce to you Miss Yolanda, very special, I call her Protect Our Stolen Treasures. Put your hands together and come on up and talk to us a little bit. I'm sorry, I was looking for you, I couldn't see you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yolanda McNair. I'm the president of Protect Our Stolen Treasures. We're a licensed nonprofit. Our hometown is Detroit, but we are in 7 different states.
And here. Right. Like that.
Okay. I'm the president of Protect Our Stolen Treasures. We're a licensed nonprofit in 7 different states. Detroit is our headquarters. I'm going to show you something on the back first.
All right. Like that.
This is my daughter, Daisha Miller. And I'd like for everybody here to say happy birthday to her today.
Happy birthday.
But what you really need to say is happy heavenly birthday.
Happy birthday.
Because on July 8th, 2012, off-duty Detroit police officer Isaac Lee Parrish III murdered my daughter at his house at his party. And then our prosecutor, Kim Worthless, let him get away with it.
Say that again.
See? Trust and believe. I go down to her office and call her Kim Worthless. Okay, I'm from Detroit. That's fine. I have lived here all but 1 year of my life. I'm 54. I'll be 55 in August. My daughter should have been 35 today. But I've been voting since I was 18. I haven't missed one. My kids don't miss voting. My baby boy is so happy he's finally able to vote. But the policies that govern the police are so foreign to everything else that happens to us, the citizens. The ones that pay them, and the ones that are failing to remind them that they are citizens with a badge and a gun. There's nothing super about them, nothing special about them. And when they commit crimes, they should be punished just like us.
Just like us. Awesome.
People look at the police and say, oh, well, they went through all that special training. No, the hell they didn't. No, the hell they didn't. Y'all don't understand. It takes longer to become a barber than it does to become a cop. And if they're short, like they've been doing, graduating all these classes, they're fast tracking them out in 3 months. For a month with a supervising officer, and they say, oh, they good. But when they stop you, you say, what you stopped me for? They, you got to figure out what it was. Or they'll make something up and say, well, you can't challenge me. You're lying, the truth ain't in you. I always challenge them. Prove to me that I did something wrong. But my daughter's crime was just being at this party. And I say they're not being charged for the things that they did. It was over 40 people at this party. It took 25 minutes for the only 911 call to come in after she was shot. My daughter was shot at 12:05. 911 was called at 12:30.
Wow.
It's so many different things I want to say. I speak all over the country. I was just in New York with George Floyd's uncle and brother. Sometimes when I start my speech, I give the numbers. 24 years, 364 days. That's exactly how long my daughter lived. And I shouldn't know that. But then I also say, on July 8, 2012, all expectations and dreams that I had for my daughter when I gave birth to her were stolen from me when they took her life. Everything that she wanted to be was taken from her. But as we are dealing with Roe versus Wade being removed, I want y'all to understand how they look at us, how the politicians, the prosecutors look at us. I was asked by a deputy prosecutor, did my daughter have any kids? And I said, no. You know what his next question to me was? What? She ain't never been pregnant? And I know it's a lot of religious people out here on that, but I'm sorry, it's my daughter's birthday. So I had to say, what the fuck is you trying to say to me? My daughter don't count unless she had kids. She's a strange anomaly, this beautiful 24-year-old young lady who's never been pregnant. So she doesn't count, she doesn't have any value though. Both her parents are still alive. She still had a set of grandparents alive. Her siblings, her nephews, and the niece, the only girl that she told my daughter she was having. None of that counts. And we were supposed to go ahead and let them act like my daughter's life was something they stepped in and was supposed to wipe off their shit. From the very beginning, and y'all can go back and check, I told them y'all should have Googled me so y'all can find out who y'all was fucking with. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sick of snow, but I'm still gonna be here because I gotta be here for the fight. I go all around the country. I know all the people that y'all know by name. I know they people. I work with them. But y'all need to understand, for every name that y'all hear that's famous, infamous, you know a little bit about the story, there's 100 to 1,000 that you don't ever hear about. And that's because the police are legally getting away with misfiling, misregistering, or just totally changing the scenario of how a police shooting came about so that they keep their numbers down and the federal dollars coming in. But the way we stop that is we put things on the ballot that stops them. They don't need all this militarized weaponry. First thing we need to do is stop all these gun companies from flooding our streets. Just in Ohio, a little over a month ago, a police chief was deemed the head of a criminal ring. This is what he was doing. Getting money from McCarthy, getting money from Bill, and then going and buying weapons that he claimed was for the police department. Bought it under their account, but then took them and put them on the streets. Put them out on the streets. He got caught. But he's still working, still holding his position, still has his authority. They just said, well, you can't buy any more guns. Who up here can do that? They're not special, but they're connected. And the problem is, when I grew up, Detroit was truly connected. Okay, because you could drive. Look, I lived off of West Chicago and Schaefer. If my neighbors saw me on 7 Mile and Lasher, they was calling my mama, is she supposed to be over here? Because if not, I'll pick her up and bring her back. My mother had to say, yeah, her grandparents around the corner. She good, she good. But now, you see your neighbor's child being attacked. You want to turn your head because I don't want to listen to that. Last time I checked, everybody in the community is your business. Because without them, what do you have? Well, I know in Detroit, we got a lot of places that look like Beirut right now. Coming up, they built houses abandoned, the neighbors cut the grass. They picked up all that junk down, threw it away, let the builders know nobody's living here anymore. They kept it up. Not because they were worried about property value, but they valued their neighborhood. So if you value the neighborhood where you live, where you lay your head, what you call yours, get off your butt and go vote. Nothing's gonna happen unless you want to be the change. You have to be the change. Thank you.
This is Yolanda McNair, y'all. This next
Yes.
gentleman, and you know, I see a guy that's walking around here. Coalition of Black Advancement. What that means is forward movement. And this young man, Dexter Sullivan, he's going to tell us about that just now, because I can't tell you all the things that he does, but he does a lot of things. And I
This
see
is the
young
voter
man
drive.
walking around here.
This is the voter drive at Martin Luther King High School. Got to click on Detroit, Channel 4. Just heard from his sister, whose daughter was killed by the police officer. This is the voter drive for the next coming elections. Signing out of Detroit.